Case. Okay. Hi guys, thank you for your patience. This is my first time using Zoom, so there's been a bit of a learning curve with that. Yeah, I really appreciate your patience. And my husband will be helping out in the chat. If you guys have any questions, he'll take a note of questions that you guys might have and what might be something good to talk about. I do have a list of things that I do want to go over today. But I'll wait until a few more people join in. But right now I'm going to, let's see. Yeah. Oh, let's all take a deep breath real quick. And I apologize for the green screen. As you can imagine, working from home, my living room is a bit of a mess. So I hope you enjoy the poppies in Southern California from last year. It's a beautiful photo that my friend took. Her name is Molly Ellis Hoy, and she's a local photographer in the area. So if you need any photography, check her out. Okay. So how are you guys all feeling right now? I want to hear from you. It's okay to be honest with whatever's going on with you. And you know, we're all here for each other. We are here to support each other, and we're not alone in this. So part of that to me is acknowledging the feelings that we have and being able to move through them, as scary and difficult as they might be. So if you want, you can share in the chat how it is you're feeling, what emotions you're going through. What thoughts are coming up. And it's okay if you don't feel like sharing either. That's all right. Yeah. It's a difficult time. So I know, you know, those feelings that you're feeling are absolutely real. And it's not something that has ever happened before to any of us, as far as I know. You know, this is an unusual circumstance. You're not alone. This is why we're all here. We're all doing this together. There's a lot of people in the same boat as you and I. And even though we don't know what's going to happen, we're all in this together, and we're here to help each other. So I wanted to talk about that today too. But first, what we can do is we can do some movement or breathing and thinking of what we can do right now in this moment. So let's see. Kelly says, I've been doing really well staving off the panic with this pandemic until last night, and now it's starting to bubble up and I'm having some trouble breathing through it. Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that. Thank you for sharing, Kelly. Yeah, breathing is really important. So we can take some time breathing through that right now. Let's see. So what I want you to do is, even if it feels impossible right now, I want you to move your body in any way that you feel would be helpful for you. So some of that can look like pressing your palms together and alternating. And if you're crying when you do this, that's perfectly okay. I learned this from a teacher and a mentor of mine, Julie Fernandez, who is part of a trauma-informed yoga group. And we do this so that way, if we feel like we want to say no to something, this provides us a good space to feel that resistance and feel no in our hands, or pressing your hands up against a wall. and pushing against it with your whole body. That can help. Some other things you can do is stretching. So if you want to lean just side to side, as you're breathing, slowly, do whatever feels good. You could do this too if you want, or keep pressing your hands together. Yeah, that's good. Or you could stomp your feet and you can feel the ground beneath you, and you can feel like the ground is supporting you because the earth is still there and the earth is holding us up. We're still supported by the things that we know and are familiar with, like chairs. We're still held up and supported by pets and animals that we have at home. You can pet them gently, not too hard. And even with pets and animals, we can remember that life continues with them. They don't know what's going on, and yet they continue to eat and breathe. And so do the plants and the trees. And everything else that happens to not be human, which is both a beautiful thing and an ironic thing, isn't it? Yeah, so what I'm going to do is, if you guys are ready, let me know. I can set a timer for 3 minutes, and we are going to do a small and short meditation. I think 3 minutes should maybe be short enough for folks just to get people started, and we can do it longer if folks really need it. So if a meditation short sounds good, what we're going to do is we're going to replace panicked thoughts with something else. So if that sounds good and you're ready, let me know in the chat, and we can get started. And until then, keep doing physical exercises to keep us grounded. You could shake it out. You can wiggle your hands or your face. You can do something really silly and go, because silliness is what we need right now. The joy and the happiness of just being alive. It's so, so precious and wonderful. And again, I'm really grateful that you guys are here. Thank you. Thank you, not just because of me, but because this also lets me know that I'm not alone. And I want to be here for you guys. So, okay. All right, it looks like folks in the chat are ready. Oh, thank you, Tessa. Yeah, thank you. Okay. All right. Oh, you know what? I turned off my phone, so I don't have a timer, but I will take a look at the clock. This is where I'm at today. I'm gonna take a look at the clock. It says 3:17 right now, so we'll go about until 3:21, let's say, and I'm gonna do this thing. So, but first, sorry. I'm going to let you guys know what it is we're doing. So first, we are replacing thoughts with something else. So as you're meditating and feeling your breath or moving, you can do a moving meditation too. That's perfectly fine. Something that is repetitive, something that keeps you in your body. Because I know for some people, just sitting and breathing isn't very comfortable. And because I also feel that way, I understand. So do what feels good. If it's not good, if you don't like it, stop. So what we're going to do is whenever an anxious thought comes up during your breathing or your movement meditation, think to yourself a mantra. Or you could say something like, I am the calm in the storm. I am the peace in the chaos. I learned that from Miranda Rondeau, who is a great drum percussionist that I know. You could also say something to yourself like, everything is figure-outable. when those anxious thoughts come up. Or you could also say, no problem is permanent. That's right. Or you could also say something short like, let go. Let go. Every time an anxious thought comes up. Or because you're sensitive or an empath or just feeling raw, you could say, I am thoughtful. I am thoughtful. I am compassionate. Over and over again. Or you could just say, rest. Rest. Something else you could do too that I find helps me is thinking of an image that is really peaceful and comforting. I like to think of a special spot in the forest where I like to go. I also like to think of a special water place area that I've gone to or a special memory. You can focus on those things when those anxious feelings come up. So we can get started. Okay, it is now 3:19. I'm gonna let us go. First, I'll lead you into the meditation, and then I'll give some time, and then I'll lead you out of it. Okay, sounds good. So you could be sitting or standing or doing your movement meditation. Something repetitive that brings you back inside the feeling of your body. Feel your breath move in and out of your nose. And if you can't breathe out your nose, then out your mouth. Feel the coolness or the heat. What is the temperature like? How would you describe the sensation? Good. You're doing great. And as you continue this, some thoughts might be coming up for you. That is perfectly okay. It's normal. It's human. You are a beautiful human in this body right now, in this space. Repeat to yourself your word or your mantra or your image that comes to mind. And breathe. Just breathe. And feel the support of your chair or the earth under your feet. We'll do this for one more minute. Just breathing. And speaking kindly to ourselves. Just a few more moments. Okay, one last deep breath. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. You can do wrist rotations. Just shake it out. You can do Kermit arms. I love Kermit the Frog. Who doesn't, right? And just allow whatever comes up for you to just wash over you and let it go. What came up for you? Can you tell me in the chat? I'm curious to know where you guys are at right now. And if we should do it longer. Or if this was perfectly okay. There'll also be a replay, so you can always come back to this as often as you want to. So that's helpful. What we do know about what's coming up for us is that these emotions and these feelings mean that your heart is working and that you are perfectly normal in feeling and thinking these things. You're compassionate. You're passionate. You're thoughtful. And you have a lot of awareness. That's amazing. And if you're an empath or a highly sensitive person, or again, feeling sensitive and raw at this time, you know, and those feelings are coming up for you, again, completely normal. I know some people have probably said this before in other places, but our current society doesn't necessarily allow us to feel things and acknowledge them. And in a way, ironically, it's almost like a big pause on everything. Like, hey guys, let's slow down and recalibrate all of this. All right, I'm seeing in the chat. Yeah, some traumatic stuff might be coming up for people. Yeah, I'm getting some private messages, which is good. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, traumatic feelings might be coming up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tessa says, I repeated that there is strength in peace, and I imagined myself following my cousin barefoot on spongy soil up a hill and feeling a mixture of strength in my heart beating and peace in the silence. That's really beautiful. Yeah. I hope that image gave you comfort. Yeah. It's a beautiful image. Yeah. Yeah, some folks are feeling weak. Yeah. That's completely understandable too, for sure. I know as empaths and HSPs and sensitive folk, we we aren't acknowledged, and we feel like maybe we're living in the time of the extrovert, or go, 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 go constantly. And it's just not realistic to live that way constantly. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, and hoping this is a time of support for you. Yeah, there's strength in all of us though. Absolutely. Even when we feel weak. So that's something else that I'm actually going over today. So again, yeah, your emotions mean that your heart is working. We're perfectly human, and that's beautiful. I wonder if from this time that means there will be more acknowledgement in this way. A lot of healthcare workers, a lot of mental health care workers, herbalists, doctors, nurses, therapists, they are getting inundated with people, and this is a really good time for everyone to do some introspection, and maybe we can recalibrate some things in our world from this. Who knows? So we need you here. We really need you here. Yeah, but there are things out of our control. So I'm going to talk about that too. So I have some notes, just that way I can focus. I have some ADD type things going on, so having a list helps me out. So thanks for your patience. So one thing that I love about Instagram is the amount of therapists that are on there that post little snippets of things. And one of the therapists that I really love, she's called the HSP therapist on Instagram, appropriate. She has this wonderful graph that says your strengths and struggles are the flip side of the same coin. And that really spoke to me because as someone who is also an anxious person, and I have a history of trauma, being able to see what feel like weaknesses as strengths is completely mind-blowing to me, and has been. So I'm going to share them with you. Your overwhelming emotions can translate as passion. Your anxiousness can translate as conscientiousness, and that you're a good planner. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Even if you don't think you're a good planner, you might actually be a good planner. Overthinking, similar thing. You could be a good planner deep down. And you're also thoughtful and deep. So if you're overthinking things, try to flip that around and say to yourself, I am being thoughtful and deep. How can I best utilize this strength of mine? If you're having trouble setting boundaries, it means that you're deeply caring. And that goes for things that we can and can't control. The fact that you deeply care is beautiful in this world, and we need more people like you. We really, really do. In the workplace, in relationships, any relationship. Could be a friendship, it could be a romantic relationship, it could be a coworker, you know? Yeah, there's so many ways to translate that. Let's see. So do you see any of these aspects in yourself? Is this you? Which one is you? And you can let me know in the chat if you want. Yeah. There's all kinds of empaths and HSPs. There are people who are sensitive to the environment. They're sensitive to people, or there are people who are sensitive to other people's emotions or their physical well-being. Some people even have abilities where if they don't know that someone isn't feeling well, that they feel that same sensation in their body. It's so interesting, right? So tell me if you see any of these aspects in yourself. Other types of empaths are clairvoyant, if you can believe it. Some people are sensitive to energies of other people around them. So if you enter a room and you just sense an energy shift or go to certain parts of a room, that's a real thing. If you sense some interesting feelings coming up around an object, inanimate, an inanimate object, that's a real thing too. Absolutely. That is a type of empath or highly sensitive person. If you're sensitive to noise, the thing, overstimulation, yeah. Someone messaged me, all of the above. Fantastic. Yeah, it can feel overwhelming for sure. Well, it's good to acknowledge these things inside of ourselves because then that way we know what to do with it and you know what to do with it. More likely, you know what to do with it. So, you can allow yourself to rest while acknowledging these aspects of yourself. So, how do we do that? Let's see. You can remind yourself of the flip sides when they come up, just like how you did in the meditation, actually. So you're already on your way. Whenever it gets too overwhelming, flip that narrative. I'm anxious. No, I'm aware. I'm aware and I'm very aware. And I know what to do with this now. Yeah. Or I'm overthinking things. Oh no. Replace that with I'm a good planner. I'm conscientious. And I really, really deeply care. Yeah. Yeah, so just like with the meditation, you can continue doing that. And if you want to continue doing that meditation, I think I might actually do a quick audio version of this and clip it down to that so that way you can repeat it for as long as you want. And hopefully that'll be helpful to you. If that sounds good. But here's the thing, as empaths and HSPs and sensitive folk, we are so likely, and you might be so likely to continue to give away your energy or receive energy that isn't yours in a way that isn't helpful to you. Like those things can't coexist together. You can't give away energy and expect to have energy for yourself. So this is a call to action of allowing yourself to be you, to feel those things and call them out and know what to do with them, but also to say, I can't right now. I just can't. Or I'm not able to right now, but I will eventually soon in the future. So I'm going to give myself this boundary, however long I need, and then I'll come back to this thing. If you're struggling with boundaries, here's some good ideas. You can set up things that are a gentle reminder for yourself, like in your phone. I set up a reminder for myself every day to do certain things like cat's bedtime or watch something funny. You know, if you're working right now, it might be good to have a timer or an alarm on your phone that reminds you to breathe or reminds you to flip the narrative. That could be helpful. You can have a buddy system with a small group of friends. Excuse me. You can check in with a few good friends every day to see how they're doing. If they need anything, this will also connect you from afar, but you can check in when you want to. You can check in when you need to. This is a mutual thing. And coming into an agreement saying, hey, let's set up this thing. That way we both feel supported and we both know how each other's health is, how you're doing on food. Let's communicate about this. This is a really good opportunity for clear communication between people. And it might be hard at first, but I believe you can do it. Absolutely. So that's just an idea. Some other ideas are setting up things you enjoy in advance. Joy and silliness and humor are so important right now. So if you want to queue up something on Hulu or Disney Plus or Netflix, whatever you have, set up a playlist or write down a list of movies and things that are your favorite that bring you joy. It could also be a couple pages of your favorite book. It could be something as simple as your favorite cup of tea and feeling that warmth of the cup in your hands. It could be also something as simple as petting your cat or your dog or your lizard. You might have a lizard. Watching the Muppets is also fun too. Yeah, figure out what brings you joy. Remind yourself of that and have those things at the ready. You can make like a emotional emergency kit. When things feel like they're too much, you can have it at the ready. If it helps to write a list down to be like, oh yeah, I could do this, because I know I can forget what makes me happy and what brings me joy. And I imagine other people might too. Yeah. So those are just some ideas. It's not homework, but it's ideas. You work with what you have already. There's no point in adding something to an already stressful time. So if you feel like you're adding too much on, just say no or wait. You know, there's good ways to do that. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen right now. We can't control things where we don't have it. So we have to accept things for what they are. And that's really difficult for empaths and HSPs sometimes, especially empaths. Sometimes as an empath, you might want to feel like you have to fix something because the uncomfortable feelings around a situation is just too much. It can feel like too much. But this is where that narrative switch comes into play. What can you do for yourself in that moment? You can separate yourself. You can bring yourself joy. You can take a breather, make a cup of tea, watch the Muppets or your favorite show. You could pet your cat. I'm repeating all these things so that way they all tie together and make sense. Yeah. And again, making it clear that we don't have control on outside circumstances, but we can control what goes on with us. And this is temporary. This is all so temporary. Everything is temporary. Yeah. And it's hard. And there's trauma that can come up around that too. Yeah, I just want to acknowledge that because I realize this could be more or less difficult for some people more than others. One of my other favorite Instagram therapists, Lisa Oliveira, says, take time to unravel from the belief that, sorry, let me read that again. Okay. Take time to unravel the belief that you can't support you in this time. You might want to support other people as much as you can, or you might be feeling like it's pointless, but that's not true. None of that's true. Yeah. It's so important to take care of yourself during this time. Again, you can't give away energy if you don't have any for yourself. It's really important. So I urge you to find out what that is, those things that bring you happiness, and think of how you can establish appropriate boundaries around things. Turn off your phone. You know, shut off Facebook. Read something else. Looks like we have some time for questions. Let me know in the chat what questions you have, and I'll go over them. Sounds good. Till then, I'm gonna shake it out. Woo! Yeah. Or tell me what your favorite things are that bring you joy. Just let it flow out. Sometimes listing that stuff on paper or speaking it out loud is really helpful. Yeah. There have been some good videos on TikTok too that make me laugh really hard. Someone commented, nerdy classic movies. Yes. Like which ones? I would hope you say Star Wars, because Star Wars is amazing. And the original Star Trek ones are pretty great too. What else, guys? Someone says baths and or showers and letting the water run over you. Turning off my phone. Buffy the Vampire Slayer marathon. Yes. Yes. You are definitely my kind of people. Yeah. Yeah, letting those tactile things that touch your body and feel comforting, that's so important and that's beautiful. Yeah. Even something soft, touching something soft like a cat or a dog or your favorite blanket. It's another good tactile feeling. Yeah. I'm so, so glad you guys are sharing these things with me. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Yeah. Somebody said Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Moulin Rouge, Disney movies. Yes. Yes. Awesome. I also love Indiana Jones and Disney movies. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, some people don't. That's perfectly okay. Yeah. What else brings you joy? I guess I could share a little bit. Something else that brings me joy is, yes, yes, somebody commented, What We Do in the Shadows. Yes, it is such a good show. I need to watch the rest of that. It sounds great. Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi, they're just hilarious people. I want Taika in my pocket at all times. Just pull him out. Tell me something funny. It'd be great. So yeah, favorite comedians too could also work. Some things that I do also are gentle movement practices like yoga. Kind of nice sometimes. It's not for everybody, but for some folks it could be. Going for walks in nature are one of my favorite things to do. And considering there's not too many people out right now, might be a good time to take a walk around the block or go to your favorite park and just walk around and feel the sunshine on your face. Sunshine's really important right now, and especially if you have seasonal affective disorder, that could be something to look into. Yeah. Someone says, taking walks, even if it's down the street, skating, riding my bike. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, moving your body and getting that blood flowing is going to be really good during this time. Absolutely. Yeah, that's so good. Someone says walks, face masks, and tea to help me relax, as well as YouTube. And honestly, this chat helps a lot. Thank you so much. I'm so glad this is helping. I'm so, so glad. Yeah, I'm here for you guys. Face masks are amazing. They are, you know, some people might think they're bougie. That is perfectly fine. They can keep that to themselves. You do you. Yeah, that's fantastic. Tea is great. One thing about tea, though, this is something to consider. If you know that you're sensitive, consider maybe drinking herbal tea or, you know, drinking something else that's delicious that doesn't have caffeine in it, especially if you know caffeine affects your anxiety or mental health levels. I know for me it does, but for other folks, it might be a thing, something to look into. Yeah, look into calming herbal teas. There's even something that is kind of like a coffee substitute. It doesn't have any caffeine in it unless you get the chocolate version. But there's something called tea chino and dandy blend. And those are both chicory and dandelion root based baked coffees, which is pretty awesome. They look like coffee, they smell like coffee, but they don't have the same caffeine as coffee. So if you're somebody that's sensitive to caffeine, that might be something to look into, just to have that similar experience, that similar ritual that keeps you grounded and healthy, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Someone asked, have I seen the What We Do in the Shadows series on Hulu? It's good to know it's on Hulu. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to watch that now. Maybe that'll happen today. Sounds fantastic. Thanks for the tip. Yeah. Do you folks have any other questions for me? I'm here for you if you need it. Feel free to message me privately. There's a way to do that. If you go to, actually don't know how to do it from here. Oh no, actually maybe. Yeah, so there's a area on the right-hand side where the chat is, and it says participants. If you go next to my name, you can privately message me. Yeah, and maybe that would be a good way to ask a question if you want to remain anonymous. It's perfectly fine. Yeah. Someone asked, how am I doing today? Thank you so much for asking. I admit, today was interesting. I'm feeling better than I have, emotionally at least. It was a bit of a struggle trying to figure out the whole Zoom thing and figuring out how to record this so that way people could come back and watch it later. It was a little stressful, but we figured it out. Everything is figure outable. No problem is permanent. So I'm glad we were able to do that and be here. I've been turning my anxiety into passion. So what I've been doing is, or at least trying to the best of my ability, there are some moments where it just completely washes over me and I just cry. I just let it out. That's perfectly normal. I expect that there will be more moments like that for me, but when I'm not crying, letting myself cry, I've been trying to turn my anxiety into passion and throwing myself into things that people need. So for me, because I have a small business, that looks like making more hand sanitizer for people according to WHO and CDC recommendations. Making more plant medicine. I'm working on some herbal syrups that will help naturally boost the immune system. So I'm in the process of doing that. They'll be up for sale sometime this coming week. I have been figuring out how to organize and clean our home and touching base with friends and people that I love. I have a core group of people that I connect with. And I'm trying to check in with folks who might need herbal care because I'm an herbalist and this is what I was trained for. So I'm ready, and I'm an introvert too, which is great. So it's a pretty good combination for me. Now, if you're an extrovert, it might be more challenging, and this is where being able to digitally connect with people is really important. You could send out a call for people and say like, hey, I'm home today and I'm working on the computer, or I'm home today and I'm working on some crafts, or this evening, let's set up a time. If folks want to come and chat, let's do it. And so actually Zoom is doing this thing now where there used to be a 40-minute limit on free accounts on groups of 3 or more. And now they've lifted it temporarily. So that's why I'm using Zoom today. And I'm really grateful to have this platform and be able to do it. There's also other options like Google Hangouts. There's Facebook Messenger. I think they have a video call option. You can always FaceTime with people too. That would be good. I know that was a question about how I'm doing today, and then I just went off on a tangent. So thanks for listening. I hope that was helpful. Are there any other questions or concerns, things you'd like me to go over in the next 20 minutes or so that we have left? We still have some time. I could also close this out with a meditation too, whenever we're ready to wrap up. Let me know. Yeah. I'll wait a couple minutes and drink some water. Also, if you're having a hard time and you feel like you're exhausted from reaching out and contacting people, or if you're just feeling depleted, you know, especially as an empath or an HSP or an introvert, yeah, take some time to yourself. It's okay. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You can let it go. Yeah, do what works for you. Yeah, these are all just suggestions. Yeah, you don't have to do all of it. Yeah. Someone asked, is there anything I can do for my parents to keep their immune systems up? That's a really good question. I know a lot of people have that right now. What I would say, I am not a doctor, but I am an herbalist with some clinical training background. And so what I would do is, I don't know what kind of medications they're on. I don't know what their body temperature, body chemistry is like, but some things that I can tell you right now are elderberry is actually a really helpful thing unless they have an autoimmune disease. If they have autoimmune circumstances, some people with autoimmune have shown to not respond negatively to elderberry. There's something called a cytokine storm, but basically people with overactive immune systems, like an autoimmune disorder, their immune system would go into further overdrive, and that wouldn't necessarily be a good thing. So be aware if they have an autoimmune disease or condition like that. If they are immunodeficient, they should definitely be taking elderberry, echinacea. Those are just some herbs that are really common and helpful in teas. Excuse me. There's also golden seal, but golden seal is not as easily harvested in the US right now just because it's been over harvested. So if you have blends that come from a sustainable source like Herb Farm, PHARM, Herb Farm, they're a really great company that I recommend to get tinctures from. You can get these herbs in tincture form. They also have I don't have it here with me now, but they also have a really great tincture blend called Rapid Immune Boost. It's good for if you begin to feel the onset of symptoms. Just like, you know, for some people it might look like a slightly swelling thyroid. It might begin to look a bit like a low fever. Just check in with them and your body and just take it at onset of symptoms or what feels like, oh, I feel like I might be getting sick, you know. So that's helpful. I would say maybe don't take echinacea constantly because it's kind of like a revving your immune system into high gear, and you don't want, if you did that with a car, it wouldn't be good for the car. So, you know, at least specifically with echinacea, it's pretty hard hitting. So I would alternate with echinacea, maybe take it like once every other day. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know their complete circumstance. These are just suggestions. I do have some herbal syrups going up in the shop this week that will contain golden seal, elderberry, licorice, mullein, and those are all really good for lung support. So mullein in particular, it's in some teas. There's some great actually pre-made teas if you want to go out and get them or order them online. That's also an option. Mullein, licorice, and there's another one, thyme. Thyme is an expectorant, and so if you have any crud kind of building up in your lungs, it's going to help you cough that out. You could also do a steam with thyme and place like a towel over your head with some hot water, and you could even just use the time that you have in your spice cabinet and do that. Put like a tablespoon in there, cover your head, cover their head. If they have some crud going on in their throat and they need to cough it up, it's a really good way to do that. Or you could also use the essential oil in some warm water. That would be a good idea. Let's see. Oh yeah, I had said licorice. Some people are not a fan of licorice. I'm not usually. I do things to mask the taste as much as I can. But what's nice about it is that it's naturally sweet. So you don't necessarily need to add any sugars to something like a licorice tea. So if you're craving sugar and you're like, no, but I can't have sugar because of health reasons, then, you know, and if you like licorice, then that's a good thing to use. It is helpful for the respiratory system. It just kind of helps clear things up there. I think it dilates the bronchioles. I forget what they're called. This isn't helping. Yeah, it helps with all that and just like expands the airways so that way people can breathe a little more easily, especially if they're having trouble with it. Turmeric is amazing for pain relief and inflammation. The only problem is turmeric is not often utilized in a helpful way. So you don't always know how turmeric is processed when you get it, especially if it's like a kitchen cabinet spice. So what you want to do is you will take some oil that you cook with over the stove and you'll put just a little bit in a pan, spread it around, and then you put however much turmeric you want in your tea or your food in there, and you let it cook gently until it turns from that really pretty golden color to almost like a deep golden orange. And that's how you know it's starting to open up. It's becoming activated, more or less. It's officiated by black pepper. So if you mix in black pepper with turmeric, your body will be able to absorb it more easily. And this is actually common for a lot of herbs because certain processes help them open up to being absorbed better in the body, which is why tea is so great. That's why tinctures are so great, because if we just ate the herbs, our stomach isn't always able to get all the constituents they need. So there's just a tip there. Yeah. Trying to think of what else can help with immune systems. I'd say staying away from sugar and alcohol right now if you can. I know that might be tricky, especially if you're home alone sometimes and you're like, I just want to eat all the things, because I feel that. But yeah, sugar can potentially suppress the immune system, and it's known to not be super helpful in cases where people can potentially get sick, especially if they're elderly. Alcohol too. Alcohol turns into sugars, so there's that. And then of course just the usual, like, please continue, keep washing your hands, you know, use hand sanitizer if you need to between washes. Hand sanitizer will not completely clean your hands, but it will tide you over just enough so that way you can get to a sink and soap for a full clean, because they say there's been studies that they found that the virus actually breaks down really easily from detergents. So that's why also washing bed linens and bed clothes and things that are commonly touched, like say kitchen towels, washing those frequently in detergent-like substances are really, really good for that. And getting enough sleep. Yeah, getting enough sleep can do a lot of good. Taking breaks from things that are stressful. If you're the kind of person who wants to keep up with the news constantly, maybe discourage them from doing that. Your parents specifically, or you know, just remind them, like, hey, what's something you enjoy doing? Like, let's focus on that. Let's do this other thing. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? I hope that was helpful. Let me know if I need to clarify anything. I'm happy to do that. And drinking water. Drink lots of water. It's good for you. Our bodies are made of, is it 70% water? Something like that? I don't know. I think so. Yeah, sounds right. Yeah, sounds right. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm really, really glad to help where I can. If you guys need more assistance in this area, I might actually end up doing this more online, because I normally do this at Crooked Path monthly. This, of course, was an unusual circumstance, and normally the workshop that I do, it's in an in-person group setting that's like super casual, super good. Yeah. One other thing actually that I could suggest, and you don't have to do this, but you could do it if you think it would be helpful. You can write down all the things that are bothering you, all the things that you're anxious about, just word vomit. Don't even worry about it, because no one's ever going to see it. You know why? Because you're going to rip it up after you're done, and you can burn it even, or flush it down the toilet. That's a great way to physically remind yourself that you are letting these things go. I think that's really helpful. Sometimes I do rituals like that, usually on the full moon, just to kind of help me let go of certain things. And I find it really helpful to marry both the psychological, the physical, and the emotional all together in that way. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm so glad you're all here. All right, we can close out. I think that's everything I wanted to cover today. Yeah. Let me know if after this chat that you have any other questions. I'll do my best to help as best as I can. And keep an eye out for the immune boosting syrup I'll be putting up soon. I don't know if I'm going to keep my shop on Etsy. We'll see. Just because they have weird rules lately. They keep changing things. But you can get 10% off of my shop, things in my shop, pretty much everything, by signing up for the newsletter. And you can also get a replay of this video as well if you sign up for the newsletter. That'll be the easiest way for me to send this back out to you. And then I'll also be able to send out the meditation as well too. I might do a longer version just in case people need it or want it. Let me know, and that would be great. Okay. So we're winding down. You can close your eyes, or you can do your movement meditation again. Take a deep breath. In and out. Good. Good. I hope you're really proud of yourself for being here today. For all the things that you're wondering, for all the things that you're curious about. You have the power to transform that into awesome, wonderful things to help both yourself and the people around you. You can show gratitude to yourself in any way that feels good. After this, you can dance, you can sing, you can watch funny TikTok videos, feed yourself if you haven't yet, drink water. I'm so thankful for this opportunity to meet with you all. I'm so thankful for the internet. Seriously. We're all so connected to each other. Thank the earth for providing you support under your feet, under your chair. Thank you for the air that we breathe. for the things that we can affect right now. Thank you. You can approach those things with love and compassion. And I know you can do that because you're here right now. And you're listening. You are so strong. I'm so, so proud of you all. I'm proud of us. And remember to rest. And remember to let things go. Everything is temporary. And it's all figure-outable. You can take another moment to breathe or do your movement. When you're done, shake it out. Or wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, smush your face around. Do Kermit arms. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I am really, really honored for your time and for your listening ears. And I really hope that this helped in some way. Please keep in touch. Let me know if you need anything. Let me know if you want to do a one-on-one. I have options for that as well. I also have a sliding scale option for both empath support, HSP support, and herbal care as well. So let me know what your needs are. I'm really happy to be here for you all. Thank you so much again. Thank you. I'll send out the replay either sometime later today or maybe tomorrow because I kind of need a bit of a break. Thank you so much again. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Do something that brings you joy. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ari, for being here. Thank you, Tessa. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Matt, for helping me out with the chat and technical difficulties. Thank you to the Fiery Wall for tech support and all of your web support needs. Thank you to Molly Ellis-Hoy for this beautiful photo of the poppies that we took. And yeah, blessings to all of you. Blessings. Okay, take care.